So today we are going to automate the LinkedIn posting using n8n. Not just the normal feed posting, also the group posting which you are part of. So let's see how the workflow look like. So this is the workflow which you are going to build by the end of this video. Okay, and for the trigger part we are getting the Google Sheet. Let's run that workflow. So by running the workflow, we are getting the row from the Google Sheet. And this is the Google Sheet, how it looks like. We are just passing the title. Using the title, we are going to pass the title to the LLM, and LLM will convert the title into the defined format in which we want for the LinkedIn. So as you can see, the status has been turned to post. This has been done automatically. So let's see how the post look like. So if you go and refresh it in my LinkedIn account, and now we can see that the two posts has been made. One post has been made on my LinkedIn account, normal feed account, and one post has been made in my group which I am part of. This is a group Python professional in which my post has been made. And the post is wonderful. So if you see, we have a hook. Have you ever wondered how AI not only processes information but makes autonomous decision? This is the hook which we have asked for. This is a prompt work, everything. You can play around with the prompt and make your own hook. Okay. And let's go to the workflow. So now we can see our status has been done to posted. So now let's create this n8n workflow. So let's start from the scratch. Let's first add the trigger. Trigger is of Google Sheet. Let's search for Google Sheet. And inside this, we want on row added or updated. So I have added my credential account. It's a very simple thing. Just click on create new credential, then sign in with Google and it will be get connected. After getting connected, so let's close it. After getting connected, let's select the document. Document name is LinkedIn post, and there is a sheet called as post over here. Okay, and one more thing, if you see, there are two sheets over here. So for the group part, so there can be multiple groups which we are part of. So in the Google Sheet, we can see we have another sheet called groups ID. So there can be multiple groups ID over here. You can write the group ID over here, and let's go to LinkedIn page. If you see, this is the one of the group which I'm part of, which is known as Python professionals. And over here, you can see we have the group ID. Whichever group you want to post, just take that ID and paste it over here. So in all these groups, the post will be made. Okay, let's go back to the n8n workflow. So for now, we need the row of which contain the title. So we'll click on the post part and let's fetch test event. So now we are getting all the events over here. As we can see, the one of the post which I ran is posted, 2 are pending, but we won't be posting for both the events over here. We want to post one by one. So we only want one item which is status pending. So first we need to bifurcate with the status part over here. So let's click on the add icon and let's add the if node. And in the if, we'll get the status value, okay, which should be equal to pending. We want only pending items over here. Let's test it. Now as you can see, we have got 2 pending. So from this also, we only want one part over here, one ID over here. So let's go again on the node and let's search for the limit node. For this limit node, restrict the item. So we want only one item and only the first latest item. So let's click on test steps. As you can see, now we are getting only one item. So I think this is cool. This till now you might have understood. So let's modify it properly. And now we have got the title. As you can see, now we have got the title. And now let's create the post. So for posting part, let's add the AI agent. Let's search for AI agent. And this AI agent requires 3 things. 3 things. Out of that, 1 thing is mandatory. The mandatory is a chat model part. Memory and tools are optional part. So let's from the drop down, let's click on the define below. And now we need to pass the prompt which will do all the magic. So let's write the prompt. For that, let's go to expression. Let's make it big. Let's write the prompt. So this is how the prompt look like. I asked ChatGPT to create the prompt and it gave me this prompt. You can play around with the prompt. You can make prompt in whichever type you want. And over here, we need to pass the title. So in the left hand side, you can see there are multiple places where you can find the title, but we want title from the limit because we have limited it. So we got the title and let's test it around and it will give an error. So we are getting an error that we have not attached the chat model. So let's click on chat model. I'm using OpenAI. You can use any LLM model which you want. I have also created the credential. It's very simple thing. Just go to the OpenAI and click on the credential. You'll get the credential. Select the model. I want fixed. Let's go and let's search by model. I want 4.0. Okay. It should be drop down. Why it's not coming drop down? Yeah, from list we need to go and we need to search for the drop down. Let's 4.0. Okay, and let the model is selected. One more thing we are missing over here. That's a very important thing. So in the AI agent, let's toggle this output format. What does this thing do? Let's do without this thing first. Let's turn it off. Let's do the test steps. Let's click on output. And now you can see we are getting just a normal output over here. And in the normal output, we can see we are getting the post key over here. This key is random. It could be any key, and in the future part it could be kind of a content, it could be like text, it could be any key over here. We can mention what kind of a key we want in the prompt, but the better way is to toggle this thing on, which is called as output format. For this output format to work properly, let's click on that. Now we can see we have another node over here. Let's click on that node, and we want the structured output parser over here. The structured output parser, we can define which type of key we want. So for that, let's go to the define below. We don't want multiple key, we want only one key. And instead of state, let's write the post. We want always post key over here. Okay, and let's go again and in the AI agent, and let's click on test steps. We are getting some error in structured output. Let's go and see what we have done mistake. There might be, yeah, we have not closed it properly. Now let's go again in the AI agent and let's test it. Yeah, now we can see that. Let's go to the output and we can see we are getting post. This always will be the post. So in the future part, when we want to use this particular content, we can just drag this key, post key, and use it. Okay, so now we have creating the post part. Now we want to post to the LinkedIn. Okay, so we want to post two places, one into the feed and one into the group part. We have the tool inside this called as LinkedIn, but this only works for the feed part. So for the group part, it won't work. Okay, so we are going to hit the HTTP request. So instead of going over here, let's search for HTTP request, and we are going to hit the LinkedIn API key. Okay, so for that we need to have the access key. So for that we need to create the LinkedIn app. It's very simple. I already created a detailed video inside this, which will give you the all the postman collection, which have the collections of all the requests which will be requiring. But let me show you how you can create the app. So let's see how you can create the app. So for that, let's go to the developer.linkedin.com, and over here let's click on the create app. Let's write the name. Let's say n8n demo test. Then we need the company page. If you don't have the company page, create the company page on your profile and paste the link over here. So this is my company page, and we don't need the privacy policy. We need to add the logo. Let's add the logo and let's click on it and let's create the app. So now our app has been created. So we need two main products which we'll be requiring for this thing. One is sign in with LinkedIn. Let's click on that and request access. And other is share on LinkedIn. Let's request access for that as well. And now let's go to the auth part. And we can see that we have a client ID and credentials, but there is one more thing which we need to do. We need to verify the app. So for that, let's go to setting. Let's verify the app, generate the URL, and using this URL, let's copy this URL and open it to the URL. And now we need to verify. Let's click on verify. And now sometime it might ask you to give the password, since it has already been done in my app. So it is not asking for me. Now let's go back and click on I am done. Let's refresh it. And as you can see, it has been verified. Now let's go to the auth part. And now we need to generate the access key. So for that, let's go to the OAuth 2.0 tool. Let's create the access token. Now we want all the scope. Okay, so let's click all the scopes over here. And now let's request access. It is redirecting. Now it will open a page where it will ask for the permissions. Now it will asking the password over here. Let me put the password. So now it is asking all the permissions. Let's allow it. And boom, your access token has been ready. Let's copy the access token. Let's go to the n8n. First, we need to get the user ID in order to post in the future nodes over there. So let's get the URL. So the URL and everything, I have made a detailed video on this thing. So over there is a postman collection which will give you all the data. Okay, so this is the postman collection which you will see when you open that URL. I'll also give you this URL in the description below also, but you can find the video if you want, and that video will be in the I button. So let's get this first user ID. So for that thing, let's copy this, come over here, paste in the URL, authentication. So there are two ways to do the authentication. One of the ways is to open the header. In the name, write the authorization, then in the value write bearer and the access token which we had copied. So let's paste the access token and let's test step. Everything well, there is giving some error, not enough permission to access. We are getting error over here. Oh yeah, instead of me over here, it will be user info. Let's click on test steps. Now as you can see, we are getting the data. So now as we can see, we need this ID for the future purpose. So that this is done. So as I was saying, there are two methods to do the header part over here. So for this thing, for in the future part, when we in the future nodes where we want to post to LinkedIn, we again have to write this header again and again. So instead of doing this thing, there is a better way. In authentication, we can come over here, click on the generic credential type. Inside generic credential type, let's click the header of header auth, and let's create the header auth. I already created, but I'll show you. Create new credential in a name. Write the same thing, authorization, parameterization, and in the value, right, let's write the bearer. So let's click to expression, it will be bearer and the same access token which we had, and click on save. And I already done, but when you click on save, it will be saved. Okay, let me close it and let me use the ID. These both are the same only. Let's click on this. Let's close the header now and let's test it again. And we'll get the same response over here. Okay, so now this is done. So let's connect this. Let's connect the AI agent with this part. So now we are getting the ID over here. So now we need to do two parts. One part is the normal feed posting. Another part is the group posting. Let's first do the normal posting. So we'll again get the HTTP request. Now instead of get, we'll have the post method because we are posting it, and the URL will be, let's go over here. Let's first of all change this so that when you use it, you will have proper it. It's user info, it's save. Yeah. Okay. Now let's go to the posting part. So for the posting part, we have this API. Let's come over here in the URL. In authentication, we have already created generic type, header auth, and we'll create this part. And this is done. Now we need to pass the JSON part. So for that, we need to toggle the send body. Instead of using field below, use JSON, and we'll write the JSON over here. Let's make it big. Okay, so this is a JSON which will be passing. So over here, we need to pass the ID which we got from the user. So let's drag and drop this. We got the ID. So now inside this text, we need to pass what kind of a post we want to make. So I think we got this from the agent part. So we are getting the agent empty. So let's see, let's debug what the problem we are getting. So yeah, so we are not running this. So we are not run this part. So let's run it everything. Let's run this. Let's run this, and run again, and run this. And let's click on this now. And as you can see, we are getting the data. Let's drag and drop the post part. Let's make it big again. Test part. Let's go to the and use the post and post it over here. So now as you can see, we are getting the data over here. So now let's test it. So now when we'll test it, we'll get an error. So as you can see, we are getting an error. The error is saying that the JSON parameter are not valid. So what's the problem? So if we open it and if we see in the text part, we are getting a space over here. Okay. And if we see over here in the post part, we are getting the space over here /n. But this /n is missing over here. Instead of getting a single string over here with containing /n, but this /n is getting converted into the new line. So to avoid this, what we can do, whenever we are getting the data from here, first we need to convert normal /n into double /n so that it can be in proper format. So let's add the code node over here. So the code node, we need to change this part. Okay. So for this thing, write this code. So this is the code which ChatGPT wrote for me. This is a normal code. What does this code do? This code will take the post, and wherever there is normal single /n, it will convert to double /n. And if you test it, it will look the same text over here, but this /n is being converted to normal /n. So now let's go to the posting part again. Let's test this tab. Let's go to this another node. Let's go over here and test this tab. Now instead of test, let's go over here. And now still we are using the normal agent output over here. So now instead of agent output, we'll delete this agent output and we'll use the code post over here. Let's paste it over here. Now if you can see, there is no space over here and normal /n. And now let's do the test step. So now as you can see, the post has been made. If we go to the LinkedIn and if we refresh, if we go to a profile, and if we see, the post has been made. So let me delete it for now. I don't want to make it post. Let me delete this post. Yeah, let's go to the n8n again. So now as you can see, normal posting has been done. So to make the group posting, there are multiple things. First, we need to get all the groups ID. So for that, we need a Google Sheet access again. So let's go over here and Google Sheet. So now instead of trigger, we want the get row from the sheets. Okay, we have the same Google Sheet account, and let's select the document. Instead of now post sheet, we'll use the LinkedIn group sheet and click on the test tab. So as you can see, we're getting this row over here. There can be, if there are multiple row, we'll get a multiple entries over here. Okay. And now instead of this part, let's delete this and let's combine this with this part. Okay. So now after Google Sheet, what we need to do, we are getting the multiple row entries over here. So we need to traverse all the entry one by one. So for that, we need looping. So for that, we'll search for loop. So loop over. Now we got a loop over. So batch size is 1. So we'll loop one by one. Okay. And let's first see it is attached properly. Yeah, it is attached properly. So let's delete this part and let's loop it again. So looping is working properly. So now instead of this replace me, we want to add the grouping code over here. So let's delete this part. Okay, and let's delete this. So now we need to add the another HTTP request. So let's go search for HTTP request, and instead of get, it will be post method because we want to post in the group. Let's add the URL. So it's the same URL which we use for the post part, and authentication we will use the created authentication, and header auth, and let's select the header. Okay, and now we want the body part. Let's use the using JSON. Let's make it expression and make it big. Okay, let's post the JSON part over here. Yeah, so this is a JSON code which we'll be requiring. So over here we'll be requiring the user ID. So for that we will get that from this part sub. Then we'll be requiring a group ID. That group ID will get from the loop over. As you can see, there is no loop over item. So let's see what's the problem. Let's go back, and we can see it is connected to the done part. We don't need with the done part. Let's delete that, and we want to connect with the loop part, because in the loop part we'll getting the data. And let's run the loop again, and we got the data. Let's go inside. Let's make it big, and now you can see we're getting the loop item data over here. Let's drag the group ID. Okay, and now we need the text. So text will get from the code part. So from the post part, let's get the text over here. Okay, and now you can see we're getting everything. So let's do the test steps. So now you can see there is some problem over here. It is telling bad request, please check your parameter. Okay, let's see what's the problem.
One eternity later.
I figured out what was the problem. So I accidentally typed this all JSON data inside this specific body, which was giving the error. So now when we do the test steps, so now if we go over here, so now we are getting the bad error because I have done the testing and I'm doing the duplicate content again. So because duplicate content are not allowed. Okay, so I can go over here, I can create the new content, and let's run everything again. Let's run the agent part, then the code part, then the normal HTTP request part, the sheet part, then the loop part, and let's go to the HTTP request and let's do the test steps. So now as we can see, the group post has been made. So let's go to the LinkedIn account, and now if you see the post has been made, so let me delete the post again. Yeah, it's done. So now we can see that the loop is working properly. So now what we need to do, so now we need to merge both the responses, and then we need to update the Google Sheet account. So to do that, let's add the merge node. Then merge node has been added. So now we need to append the two inputs. If there are multiple inputs, you can select multiple inputs. Now, but for now we have two inputs. So let's add the row over here. So for this thing, so let's disconnect this. And now we need first input from this thing, and second input is after this done part. And now once this thing is done, then we need to update the Google Sheet. Let's add the Google Sheet, and now in this thing we need to in the action part we need to update the row. And now sheet has been attached. Now we need the document, add LinkedIn post, and sheet we need the post sheet. And now we need the previous data. So I think we have not ran it. So let's run the merge node. Now after running the merge node, we are getting the duplicate content again. I think so. Yeah, we are getting the duplicate content again. So there is one more thing. If you want to, you can bypass this error and then don't stop the workflow. So for that, we can go to the setting and we can do on error. There is by default it stops workflow. We can do the continue part. Let's do the continue part and do the test steps again. So now we'll get the error, but this error will get passed ahead. Okay. So for this purpose, you can turn this on. If you want, you can turn this on. It's on your it's all up to you. Okay, let's run this again. And now let me do one thing. I think we are getting duplicate part over here. Yeah, we're getting duplicate part over here. So let's do the setting, continue workflow, test steps, and this will be done. Okay, let's run the merge part, and now we'll go to the sheet. Okay, and now in the sheet we are getting all the data. So now we need to update this sheet according to the ID. In the post we have this ID. According to ID we need to update this part. Let's go to the workflow. And now we need to add the ID column to match on ID. Let's drag and drop the ID. So we'll get the ID from limit part. Let's drag and drop this ID. We don't want to change the post title. We just want to change the status. So we need to change the status to posted. Let's run it test steps. And now yeah, it's done. Let's go over here and you can see it has been done. So now let's run everything from start. So let's go back. And now let's run the test workflow. So now as we can see, we only have the one pending entry, so that one pending entry will come over here. So now we can see in the false item we have 2, in the true we have 1. It's going, and yeah, everything has been done. If we go to LinkedIn sheet, we can see it is posted. If I go to my account, LinkedIn account, and if I refresh it, we can see that the post has been made. Both the posts. Let's see all the posts. Yeah, so as we can see, all the post has been made. So now this is how these things are getting done. So I hope you might have got a good understanding of how LinkedIn automation work with the n8n. It's make your work way easier. You can write the Python code if you want, but if we have the automation, then why to write a Python code? This can everything error handling and multiple things can be done by the n8n only. This is just the tips of iceberg what n8n can do. There are so many things, so many advanced complex things that n8n can do. So if you want to see what all things can be done, I am going to make tons of video on n8n and how the automation work in general. It could be with coding, it could be without coding. So stick to my channel. If you're liking the content, please press the like button and share the video with your friends, because it boosts the YouTube algorithm and promote my video to people like you who want to learn this kind of thing. And comment to me your feedback, what you like, what you didn't like, what any suggestion or feedback you want to give. Please comment to me so I can read the comment, and what more video you want, you can comment that as well, so I can see that, I can read that and make more video on that. I hope you like the content. So we'll meet in the next video. Till then, take care.